And now, at the latest business and market news, it's over to Jayne Edwards.
Thanks, Alan. It was a mixed day on Wall Street on Friday, with weakness in blue chips dragging the Dow lower, while some robust results in the tech sector caused the Nasdaq to jump by over 1%. It was a day dominated by the speech from Fed Chairman Ben Bernanke, who virtually confirmed that the bank is poised to give more stimulus to the sluggish US economy. That caused a slide in the US dollar to briefly hit parity with the Aussie dollar and slump to a 15-year low against the yen. Other economic news showed a lower than expected rise in inflation and weak consumer sentiment. Company results also drove the share market, with Google rocketing up by 11% on surprisingly good revenue growth, while GE slid by 5% after reporting disappointing sales. Banking stocks also struggled over concerns about bungled housing foreclosures. Across the week, world share markets were a mixed bag. The US, UK and Europe all recorded healthy rises, while Japan was in the red and Australia broadly unchanged. With more from our local market, here's Marcus Padley.
Well, quite a good week this week as the Aussie dollar shot towards parity, taking commodities with it, and resources outperformed. One of the stars of the sector was Fortescue Metals after they announced a $2 billion corporate bank facility, which they say will fund unprecedented growth. They also had quite good third-quarter production numbers. The share price is up about 37% in just over a month, which makes Andrew Forrest about $1.5 billion better off than he was previously. Rio also had good third-quarter production numbers this week, which bodes well for BHP's. We also saw ERA's third-quarter production numbers disappoint, although they did have comments about the uranium market, which helped Paladin have a good week this week. Not such a good week for the steel stocks after POSCO, the world's third-largest steelmaker out of South Korea, told us that they had a bit of an earnings guidance downgrade, and also after the BlueScope annual report, which told us that they had seen some softer demand in steel and price pessimism, again largely due to the Aussie dollar. Woodside was pretty much unchanged after their CEO announced his retirement. Bank of Queensland was down after some OK results, but not good enough after the recent share price rise. We saw Woolworths down after they announced an 88.2% scale back on their recent share buyback, which makes it hardly worth tendering your shares into. CSL had its AGM and was down, again worrying about the Aussie dollar. JB Hi-Fi fell on their AGM. They talked about sales below budget and discounting in the sector. We saw a similar refrain from Jerry Harvey in the newspapers this week, which didn't do the Harvey Norman share price any good, or that of Billabong. New Farm and Max Services were both up on a bit of bid speculation. Seek was down a bit as the co-founder and co-CEO, one of the Bassett brothers, announced his resignation. And Karoon Gas was up after they talked about an IPO in Brazil at the end of the month, and also after their performance on this programme last week. Winner of the week this week was Kagara Limited, up 18% after the $14.3 million takeover of Queensland explorer Copperstrike. And loser of the week was Platinum Australia, down 10% after terminating an underground mining contractor after a bit of a dispute.